Act can and should work better when it comes to involving iwi in the planning and consents process. As a House, we should be proactive in creating good legislation which strengthens the constructive relationship between Māori and consent authorities. I'd like to take this call firstly to congratulate my colleague, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta, on putting forward a bill which does just this, and secondly, despite the speech that we've just heard from Mr Ockenvold, to encourage all parties in the House to support the legislation. Sir, currently the law provides that those exercising power are required to have regard for kaitiakitanga, which has been translated as guardianship over our natural environment, and also for the principles of te tiriti o Waitangi. Consent authorities are therefore required to consult iwi and to give consideration to any relevant documents prepared by them. However, the way things are currently structured, iwi input is poorly integrated into the plans of local authorities. Māori have no real way as of right to participate in planning except to object through the consents process, causing delays and resulting in a few positive outcomes, while at the same time being potentially divisive because of the adversarial nature of the objections process. And Sir, partnership and good faith, which are both treaty principles that suggest working together, are not fulfilled by this process. We have instead an unconstructive adversarial approach taken to these matters. It's not the right way to do things. Now, Sir, Nanaia Mahuta's bill seeks to remedy this by ensuring that more weight will be given to iwi concerns early in the planning and consenting process. It encourages a greater level of engagement between iwi authorities and resource management stakeholders. This would shift iwi to a position of front-end participation, providing better outcomes for all involved and having more public support than has been garnered in previous situations because of the front end rather than the post hoc nature of the input that the bill would provide for. As Nanaia Mahuta said, the bill also seeks to normalise a way of doing things, as opposed to the current situation where those involved often have to wait for a treaty settlement to have the way in which they want things to be done formalised. A recent example is where provision has been made for statutory recognition of the vision and strategy in the Waikato River Settlement Act. Well, this bill, I'm sorry to differ from the learned view being shouted across the House by Sandra Gowdy, but this bill looks to create an integrated management approach to cleaning up the Waikato River and developing a goal common to iwi, local government, landowners, government agencies, industry and the wider community. And no shouted voice from the 60s across the House can negate that. It's a strongly held belief in the Labour Party that things get done better, faster and to the benefit of everyone when people work with rather than against each other. This bill would extend that value to an area of the law where it is sadly lacking at the moment. I did listen carefully to Chris Ockenvold's speech, setting out the reasons why the National Party won't be supporting this legislation. To summarise, basically, don't worry, these matters will be dealt with in Phase 2 of the reforms to the Resource Management Act. Well, we'll see, sir. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But what I would say to the National Party, and I see that the Minister as well as the Chair of the Select Committee are present in the House tonight, why not vote to send this legislation to the Local Government and Environment Select Committee? It can sit there, and at the same time as submissions are heard on the second phase of the Resource Management Act reforms, submissions can be heard on this legislation, and therefore the House can be assured that the matters that are referred to in Nanaia Mahuta's bill will be dealt with in an adequate way at the time of the second phase of those reforms. Sir, I commend that course of action and Nanaia Mahuta's bill to the House.